I can remember back in 2005 that heading into SummerSlam, I expected this show to really knock my socks off. I really thought that this was going to be an awesome pay per view. It had, in my opinion, what were so many things going for it that I thought, man, this is going to be one of those truly great all time SummerSlams. And then the event happened. It wasn't a bad show. It just left me feeling like I could have gotten so much more than what I actually got. And it left me, frankly, feeling disappointed. Now, as I go back one more time and watch it again in 2014, I still have that feeling of disappointment when thinking back to this show. And, what better way to start off with than talking about Edge versus Matt Hardy? This all revolves around the real life love affair that Edge and Lita were having while Lita was supposedly with Matt Hardy. Lita hoeing it up like hoes do. Before it was the Kelly position, and after it was the Sunny position, it was the Lita position in WWE. But nonetheless, I mean, here's something that you live for. Here's a true life love triangle that you're able to play out on screen. This looks like the type of storyline that could make massive stars out of both Edge and Matt Hardy. Something we look for so often, something that feels as real as it possibly can be within the confines of being scripted and predetermined, because frankly, it was real to a certain degree and it was legitimate. It was a shoot. And I was expecting this match to potentially be the most intense and maybe be the match that delivered the most at SummerSlam 2005. And the way I looked at it is I thought, because of the heat along with the story, because of the intensity of this story, because of who was involved in this story and the history of these two guys and Lita involved all in this story, that I thought this match maybe even had a chance to go on second to last or third to last on this show. But once it went second on the card, I'm like, whoosh, that's a little early. And yeah, this match was underwhelming. I mean, Matt Hardy got broken open the old-fashioned hard way. And, less than 5 minutes, basically, the match is over. It's intense. It feels like a real fight for the time that it is. But again, with the story that was heading into it, and I know the feud continued and all of that, and you had a couple more matches with them, and the loser leaves Raw match and all of that. But man, you would have thought that this was going to be so much more. You would have expected this match to be so much more. And it really felt like it was a way for the WWE to really, in a way, bury and punish Matt Hardy and kind of excuse Edge for what was going on and use it as a real launching point to elevate him to the next level. And to be fair to the WWE, that's exactly what this whole thing did. Even though Edge is clearly the villain in this situation, he's really the one, ironically enough, that came out smelling like roses because of this. And, you're talking about the guy that won Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 21. So obviously the WWE had big future plans for him. And this right here was that kind of signature rivalry that one side got a whole lot more out of than, frankly, the other side did. Matt Hardy came across as kind of sad, kind of pathetic, relatable. It was understandable, but you didn't view him in the same light as Edge, I guess you would say. And Edge was supposed to be the bad guy in all of this. I mean, it was a bad situation, and this really created a bad match. It was unfortunate. And then, speaking of unfortunate, you look at this real last, I would say, showcase match for Eddie Guerrero at a big-time show. It's SummerSlam 2005. It's Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero in a ladder match. And you hear those names and you hear ladder match, and you're like, man, this match is going to rock. This match is going to be awesome. Except for the fact that the whole stipulation around this match was who was going to get custody of Rey Mysterio's son, Dominic. Oh, God. Instead of having these two legends and Hall of Famers have a match maybe for the IC title or the US title or for a future world title shot, we decided to take this thing that would seem to be based in reality, even though everybody understood that this was complete and total fabricated bullshit, and tried to make this the whole crux of the storyline and the purpose for this match. It was bad. And it was a shame, because these are two great performers, two great workers that really went out there and put on a really damn good match. But the whole time I'm watching it, I can't get over the fact that they are fighting over the fictitious custody of Rey Mysterio's son, Dominic. This was dumb. It's so disappointing that instead of giving these two guys just a match where it's just a match or putting something serious on the line that people would actually buy into, they did it for the custody of Dominic. Oh, Christ almighty. Just bad. Just bad. Like I said, match itself, not bad. But I could never get that thought out of my mind the whole time and every time I ever watch this match that this is what they decided to do. This was going to be the big blow off to this feud. It was just ridiculous. And then, a year after having Eugene feud with Triple H, now you saddle Kurt Angle with him here at SummerSlam 2005. And it's like, come on, man. Good for Eugene. He got another featured match here at a SummerSlam, but you never had any doubts in your mind that Kurt Angle was going to win this in any way, shape, or form. Whereas the year before, you maybe thought in some way or some capacity that there was even the most slight possibility that Eugene could somehow luck into a victory against Triple H. So this match didn't work. It's for Kurt Angle's Olympic gold medal. Come on, man. It just didn't work. One match that really worked and one feud that really worked for the WWE, in 2005 was Randy Orton versus The Undertaker. This was at a time where the WWE was, starting to screw the pooch with Orton a little bit. They went from forcing him down your throat, going past push and past cram, all the way into full-fledged force mode with the guy, to all of a sudden it's like they really want to back off of him, and they're trying to make him a babyface, and all this other crap doesn't work. And then he feuds with The Undertaker, and I always assert that Undertaker is what saved Randy Orton in the WWE. Undertaker is what helped make Randy Orton a real deal, legit main eventer in the future. This whole program here in 2005. And I love the way this was done. You have a big match at WrestleMania, a big spotlight match for Randy Orton and Taker. Then you come here to SummerSlam. There's another one. Then at Survivor Series, your third of the big four pay-per-views, another match between these guys. It was a great feud in 2005. Some might argue, and I might argue, the feud of the year. And another really good match between the two of these guys. I always thought they had really good chemistry in the ring. I loved the dynamics of the feud. I loved the inclusion of Ace Cowboy Bob Orton, Randy's dad. This, to me, was the best pure match of the night. This was the match from a wrestling standpoint that I thought was the most enjoyable to me. And then you kind of get to the three featured matches, the three matches that I think this show was really built off the backs of, if you will. And the first one is the WWE Championship between Cena and Chris Jericho. And again, heading into this, I hadn't fully turned on Cena yet. I hadn't fully grown to despise Cena yet. I was starting to distance myself from him a little bit, but I wasn't all the way there yet. And I had a real hope that this was going to be a big-time critical match for John Cena, and that he and Jericho were going to go out there and rock the world. And it was going to cement Cena as a big-time star. It was going to cement Cena as a future top guy for the WWE. And in a sense, frankly, all it really did was show me what was going to come with John Cena. It was a match that was kind of there. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. It didn't live up to my expectations, and it frankly left me feeling a little disappointed. I had a feeling Jericho at this time may very well have been on his way out. Even back then I was thinking it, and I didn't really read the dirt sheets or anything at that particular time, but Cena winning, this was the start of the John Cena monster and the John Cena problem, in my opinion. And then the other world title match on this card I thought was also disappointing. No holds barred for the World Heavyweight Championship, Batista versus JBL. I like the concept that both of your young lions, your new faces of the company, John Cena and Batista, were your world champions coming into SummerSlam, your big show of the summer. I don't have a problem with that. I don't even have a problem with them defending their titles successfully and walking out of the show as champions, because it needed to be about these guys at this time. It really did. But this Batista JBL match could have been so much more. When you do no holds barred and the official match is less than 10 minutes, it's barely 9 minutes, that's not good. It was okay for the time that it had. It maybe accomplished what it needed to accomplish, but again, I thought it was going to be more than it ultimately ended up being, and that was kind of my disappointment. And I was also a little bit surprised with this show that the WWE actually did the right thing and made the right decision and said, you know what? Yeah, we've got Cena here with this belt, and we've got Batista here with this belt, but we know that only one match can capably main event this show. We know that one match is the safest bet to deliver. We know that one match will bring it home strong, and that was Hulk Hogan versus Shawn Michaels. And, the whole story heading into this, and this was Shawn Michaels, I think, at his kind of bitter heel best. He was incredible in the whole setup to this feud. And frankly, there were times that he made Hogan look bad. And this is, to me, the type of match you should have at a SummerSlam. What I've always liked about a SummerSlam, and I think what always makes a SummerSlam work really well, is when you kind of have that summer special, that spectacle type of match, that special attraction type of match, even more so maybe than a WrestleMania or a Survivor Series. To me, that's always been a crux, or not a crux, but a kind of calling card of SummerSlam, is having those big special attraction, unique feeling, once in a generation, once in a lifetime, first time ever, maybe last time ever matches. And Hulk Hogan versus Shawn Michaels fit the bill in so many ways, and was ultimately the reason why I bought this pay-per-view back in 2005. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that bought it for that specific reason. I mean, who's the real man? Who's the real legend? Who's the real icon? And as you watch this match, you could see from the beginning, at the very beginning, with Shawn Michaels flopping around and kind of acting like a whiny bitch, it spoiled the match for me in the sense that not only was he flopping around and acting like an idiot, but it let me know that Shawn Michaels thought he was going to play Shawn Michaels politics with this, and then he found out that Hulk Hogan does business the Hulk Hogan way, and Hulk Hogan business rules all. It let me know that Hogan was going to win the match, which didn't exactly make me mad, but it didn't please me in the sense that it really spoiled the finish at the very beginning. Now, once you got past some of the bullshit, even though Shawn Michaels acted like a little bitch all throughout this match, and I think at times tried to really set out to embarrass Hogan, and I'm not saying that I don't somewhat understand Shawn Michaels' perspective. Here's Hogan. Originally this was going to be like a big series of like 3 matches between him, and that's great. That would have been incredible. Or if you're only going to have one, Shawn Michaels is still going to be around. Why does Hulk Hogan need to go over here? But then at the same point in time, I mean, let's be realistic. You're talking about Shawn Michaels, or you're talking about Hulk fucking Hogan. Hulk Hogan! Shawn Michaels was a phenomenal performer. I argue maybe the best pure in-ring worker of all time because of his versatility, his ability to do a lot with a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. But damn it all, this was Hogan! The Attitude Era really started to kick ass after Shawn Michaels left. I think sometimes Shawn Michaels is greater in his own mind than he was in actual reality. Once I get through some of the bullshit, this match delivered to me. This match really worked. It was kind of a run-of-the-mill Shawn Michaels match. It was one of the truly great matches that Hogan ultimately ever ended up having. And, it really felt like you had 2 legends, 2 lions, 2 icons, 2 egomaniacs, 2 whiny bitches, 2 politicians. I mean, this is the type of shit that the Schleg Daddy lives for in a way. You could see this level of politics and that level of politics, this massive ego versus that massive ego, this quasi-religious guy versus this quasi-religious guy. Incredible shit. It ultimately saved this show for me. Hogan wins. I can celebrate. And, it was a main event special attraction match that I frankly did think really delivered. But like I said, when I think back on this show, I think about what could have been and how the show should have been so much more. Edge and Matt Hardy should have been so much more. Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, I think could have been even more than it already was if it didn't have the stupid stipulation hanging over it. Orton and Taker was phenomenal. I thought, like I said, the best pure match on the card. But Cena, Jericho, Batista, JBL, match is not bad, but I expected more and I expected better. And I think the WWE needed more and needed better out of those 2 title matches at this time. So I won't say this was a terrible show, and I won't even say this is a skippable show. It's a show you can still sit through. It's a show you can watch, and you won't be bored, and your time will go by relatively smoothly. But I think as you go back and watch it, you'll see kind of like talking about it, and you'll be like, yeah, man, this wasn't bad. This could have been so much more than what it actually was.